Okay. All right, we're recording. So, welcome guys to our Tuesday team call. Happy Tuesday. And I'm really excited. We have a special guest, Mike Mallory, today. He's a regional sales director with Isogenics. And I am just honored to have him because I actually heard him on another call. And I thought he was really terrific about how he explained some things with network marketing and comparing Isogenics and kind of some things that we have at Isogenics that are so special. And I really thought it would be great for today's topic, which is going to be about building your belief to build your business. So before I turn it over to Mike to share some things, I know I asked you guys to have a pen and paper. So just briefly, what I want you to do, this will only take 2 minutes max, is rate your belief between a 1 and a 10 on 4 different categories. The first one is on the industry of network marketing. So what is your belief meter? From a 1 being low, you really are skeptical about the industry, you don't trust it, you're not sure, that would be a 1. To a 10, which is you are so solid in your belief, you think it's the best industry ever, you're completely sold on it, that would be like a 10. Nobody can tell you otherwise. And this is about the entire industry of network marketing. Okay, 1 to a 10. The second one, and write it down, you don't have to share in the chat. The second one is Isogenics. So Isogenics as a company, the ownership, and even including our comp plan, like what Isogenics offers. Not product-wise, but company-wise, and also compensation plan, 1 to a 10. So 1 is like you really don't have much belief in it. 10 would be you are completely ready to rock. The third one is our products. So where's your belief meter from a 1 to 10 in the Isogenics products? How you feel about them, how you feel when you personally use them, and how you feel when you talk about them and share them. Where's your belief in the products? 1 to a 10. And then the fourth one is yourself, your belief in self. So anywhere from a 1 to a 10. So 1 would be you have absolutely no belief in yourself that you could do this. You know, I don't think anybody's at a 1, but you get what I'm saying. And self, 10 would be you are just completely confident, solid in this. You know you could do it. You are feeling bulletproof. So I want you to think about those 4 areas. And I'm just going to start out the call with having Mike as our guest because I want Mike to just give a little talk about Isogenics and how you see our comp plan, because you did such a great job. It was a call right before virtual celebration that I was on, and I just heard you speaking, and you gave some examples of what you used to do before and your companies that you worked for and how you saw Isogenics and what you saw coming for the future. And it really excited me. I've been with the company for 7 years, and your energy got me really excited. So that's why I called you to ask if you'd be on our call today. But if you can just kind of give us a little bit of an overview talking about the company comp plan and what Isogenics offers, I would really appreciate that tonight.
Absolutely. Let me first just say, Gina, thank you so much for having me. I've got a lot to live up to now because you're making it sound like I'm amazing, and I'm really not, but I am going to try my best. But thank you guys so much for having me. You know, I got to say, I'm looking through all of these faces and names. I think I'm friends with some of you on Facebook, but others I am not. So please friend me. I've only been with the company now for about 4 or 5 months, and I'm trying to get to know everybody. So friend me on Facebook. Let's get to know each other. I joke that the mountain region is the best just because I'm over that region, but I don't care where you live. I still want to be friends with you. I still want to work with you any chance I get. But anyway, yeah, so let me talk a little bit about Isogenics. Now, let me also just warn you guys, my wife and daughters had to run out for a minute, so I'm here with my 2-year-old son, so if he pops in, I apologize. Right now, his babysitter, Peppa Pig, is doing a good job, but just in case she slacks a little bit, he might run in here. But anyway, so in order to tell you kind of my perspective on Isogenics, on the comp plan, I kind of got to tell you my history. So I've been involved in the network marketing world now for about 10 years. So let me back up. So I graduated from college clear back in 2010. And right out of college, it was seriously maybe 6 weeks out of college, I got a job at Young Living Essential Oils. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that company. And I was the Eastern US sales manager. And it was a great job. I still, to this day, have nothing bad to say about any of the companies I worked at, by the way. All great companies. A lot of them have good products. But I started working at this company. It was kind of my first taste of network marketing. And I developed some opinions at that point. Even though I loved my job, I was still kind of under the opinion that in order to make money, you kind of have to be in at a perfect time. You kind of have to have that perfect spot, right? Which is kind of the overall mentality that a lot of people have. And it didn't really change. Even my entire time at Young Living, that mentality didn't change as far as who I thought could make money. Anyway, I worked there for about 2.5 years. Again, great company, but I just felt like I wanted to climb that corporate ladder. I'd kind of reached my ceiling there. So I took a job at a company called ASEA, also in Utah, which, by the way, I live in Utah. So all of these companies are right around me because for some reason it's the mecca for network marketing out here. But anyway, I took a job at this company called ASEA, also a network marketing company, right? I got a little more money to work there. I had a little bit better title, but my position was pretty much the same. So my job was to work with the Eastern US people and just train them. I mean, I trained all of these companies I worked at. My job was basically to support and to train. So I was training on compensation plan. I was training on product. I was training on even the science behind the products, which I'm not a science guy, but I just took information from the real smart people. But anyway, I did that at ASEA for about 3.5 years. And then one day, one of their top leaders in the company came to me, and it's a really weird story. I won't go into a ton of detail. But one of their top leaders came to me, and he just said, you know what, Mike, I really don't like to present. I don't like to get up on stage. I don't like to train, but I have a lot of money. So I will pay you to come do that for me. That's basically what he told me. He said, I will pay you 1 year's salary to come be my mouthpiece for my organization. And I said, wow, what a great opportunity. I can now see the other side of the coin, right? No longer corporate. Now I can be out in the field. I can get a feeling for really just all of the tough stuff you guys go through. Because being a network marketer, it's so simple, meaning the whole process and the whole plan, everything is simple, but it's not easy, right? It takes a lot of work, dedication, focus, commitment, all of these good things. So anyway, I took him up on his offer, and I went out in the field, ended up being not 12 months, but 18 months. And again, I would just run all of his classes. I would do all his trainings. I would run his calls. I mean, I did like everything for him. And after 18 months, he actually wanted to keep going. And I said, I'm ready to get back to the real world, do the corporate thing again. And I got a job at this tiny little company called Engage Global. Now, again, another network marketing company. It's basically like a startup. And it was probably the hardest job I've ever had, but I also learned the most. Because it was so small, I did a lot, right? So I not only did sales, but I also ran their marketing, and I did promotions, and I ran the events, and all of these different pieces. I helped design different aspects of their compensation plan and things like that. And after about 2 years and just some things I didn't love about that company that I won't go into, I listened to a friend of mine who had been bugging me for 3 years straight. His name was John Raines. You guys know who John Raines is? He used to be the Central Region sales director. He's no longer with us. I yell at him every day for leaving us. But literally for 3 years, this guy was texting me, and he was saying, Mike, you have to take a look at Isagenix. And I just kept saying, what's so great about it? It's just another network marketing company. They're all the same. They all have good things. They all have bad things. And I just didn't really look into it. And again, this happened for 3 years. I bet you at least once a month, he was texting me saying, look at Isagenix. I can get you an interview. And I just wasn't interested. So finally, right about the time I'm looking to leave my previous company, he came to me and he said, Mike, I think they'll let you work from home. And I live in Utah. And my wife does not want to move to Arizona. Not because it's not a beautiful state for anyone that lives there, but because it's too hot. And she said, no way, I will not live in Arizona. But they said, you know what, you may be able to work from home, work remotely. So I took the interview. And you guys, it was like from that moment and then the following interviews after that I have been blown away. And I've now been at the company for about 5 months. Anyway, and it has been just amazing. And let me tell you why. And I'm sorry I had to tell you that big, long story to get here, Gina, but I think it kind of gives a reason behind my perspective. So you guys, at all of these companies I've worked at, I've seen, well, let's talk about compensation plan first. I've seen different compensation plans. So Young Living is a unilevel. ASEA is a binary. Engage Global it's kind of a mix of a unilevel and a unigenerational. And now here, obviously, we're back to a binary. But let me tell you what is so special about this comp plan. If I could rate all of the comp plans that I've worked with, I'd say binary number 1, unilevel number 2, and unigenerational number 3. But the binary plan here, you guys, even compared to ASEA, is so amazing for one big reason. Because it allows people that are big, huge leaders, right? They've been here for 20 years. They've built these gigantic organizations. It gives them tons and tons of residual income. But here's the other best part. It's not just for them. This comp plan is built so that even if you're brand new and you started yesterday, you can also make really good money. Or let's say you've been in it for a year, you can make really good money. I was just pulling reports today, and I won't go into names because I don't want to share these people's information, but I've got a girl that started with Isagenix, I think it was December of last year, so of 2019. So she's been in for like 7 or 8 months. And she's already making about $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month in 7 months. Do you know how hard that is to achieve in network marketing? And don't get me wrong, she busted her butt. This is not a get-rich-quick thing. She busted her butt. She's a hard worker. She's amazing at mentoring her teammates. But it's possible. At any other company I've worked at, I've never seen that. Way too much emphasis goes into where you are placed, when you get in, right? Whether or not you've gotten a gigantic organization you're bringing with you. That's not the case with this compensation plan, you guys. Again, you do have to work your tail off, but that's true for any work, any job. But the compensation plan is generous. I mean, things like the executive lifestyle bonus and these leadership pools and all these other little things that you get paid on your way kind of to the top of the compensation plan that don't exist in other companies. They just don't. They might have a little piece here and there, but they don't exist when you're comparing it to the Isagenix compensation plan. Seriously, I'm going to go back to the executive lifestyle bonus because it's one of my favorite things in the world. I'm amazed they do that. You can earn an extra $750 or every third month an extra $1,000 just for maintaining executive and hitting a couple of small requirements. You guys, other companies don't offer that. Other companies look for every single opportunity that they have to not pay you money. I promise you, I've been on the corporate side for so long, they are looking for opportunities to not pay you. And the other amazing thing about Isagenix is the culture. And I think the culture kind of ties into the compensation plan a little bit because here's the thing, you guys. I was on a call last week with a very upset associate here at Isagenix, and they said, Mike, this was not clearly explained. One of our bonuses, I can't even remember which one it was. She's like, this part was not clearly explained. I busted my butt for that bonus. Now I'm going to miss out. Oh, it was the executive lifestyle bonus. But she said, now I'm going to miss out because somebody explained this wrong to me and I'm missing out on $750. Guess what we did for that person? We went back and said, you know what? We'll make the exception. And that's not to say we're going to do that every time. You don't have to actually earn your bonuses. But to me, that ties in with the culture at Isagenix because that happens all the time. Other companies I work at, they say, oh, sorry, that sucks. We just saved $750. We don't have to pay you. Not Isagenix. We look at their account. We say, oh, you know what? She did work really hard. She met all the other requirements. It looks like she was pushing for XYZ. And they paid her. And they've done that at least probably 10 times for 10 different people just in my region since I've worked here. So again, you guys, the compensation plan here is so different. The culture is amazing. So not only the culture from a field standpoint, because every company you go to, right, the founders and everybody, they treat the field like they are just the bee's knees. They're just amazing people. They'll put them up on a pedestal. But then behind closed doors, they kind of hate the distributors. I've literally had higher ups in the company. It will be like, they'll go out and do an event. They'll be hugging everybody, loving on everybody. And then you get them back behind closed doors as soon as that event is over. And they're like, oh my gosh, why did you let that person talk to me? Why did you let this person, come running through the crowd? It honestly happens. But at Isagenix, it's the opposite. Are you kidding? Have you met the Cougars? This is their life. They love you guys. They care about you guys. Kathy Coover gets on our sales team call every single week and just really rips us apart if there's a distributor that isn't feeling satisfied. Literally, she cares more about you than anything else in the world. And that's so rare in this industry. So anyway, you guys, I know I'm going on and on. This company is amazing. Again, I've only been here about 5 months, but it's finally the company where I feel like I'm home. I feel like it checks all the boxes for me. It's got a compensation plan that's fair and generous, right? So I don't feel like we're just taking advantage of the distributors. It's got a culture, not only with the associates, but also with the corporate staff. It's got products that are scientifically backed, and they just keep getting better. They throw promotions out left and right, which I love promotions, so I have to throw that in there. I would do a promotion every single day. Anyway, you guys, I could go on, but this company is amazing, and I hope that's what you were looking for, Gina.
That was excellent, Mike. Thank you so much. Now, I want to ask it right in the chat, yes, if your belief meter went up any little bit more than it was before Mike started talking. Because that's like, and you know, Mike, I don't know if you know, this was my first ever network marketing company. I honestly kind of fell into it. So I don't have anything to compare it to. So when I hear things like that, it just solidifies my commitment to leading teams and committing to this business and this company. So it gets me really excited to be part of it. So thank you so much. I'm so glad the team got to see you, and we all as a whole, our team welcomes you to Isagenix, and we're so fortunate to have you. And thank you so much for your time and sharing that. And remember, guys, if you're not friends with Mike Mallory on Facebook, go ahead and send him a friend request so he can watch you guys grow and be recognized and everything.
Please, and just to add to that really quickly, if you actually live in the mountain region, and again, if you don't, you're still welcome to do this, but especially if you live in the mountain region, you guys, I have a group. It's called Isagenix-Mountain Region. Go ahead and ask to be added, and I will approve you. But get in there, because I like to recognize everybody and keep you updated.
Okay, great. That's good to know. So the mountain region, I'll send a reminder out to a couple of you guys to make sure they do that. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So guys, I wanted to have Mike on. Wasn't he great? Great energy. And I just feel like, you know, when you don't have another company that you've ever been with to compare ours to, it's hard. Like, everybody thinks they're with the best company when they're really in their company, right? So sometimes it's hard to feel like, no, our company's the best when you don't really have anything to compare to. So I just love how Mike has that background and how welcomed he felt to Isagenix, and how he could see firsthand how involved the Cougars are. So with that, I want you guys to kind of look back at your piece of paper that you have. And I feel like with what he just shared, it was really helpful for mostly Isagenix, right, with the company, but also even with the network marketing. You know, he still worked for different companies. The industry is very relevant, especially right now. So I want you to kind of go back to your paper that you have where you put your numbers, and just like look again if anything changed, you know, maybe for the industry or for the Isagenix comp plan, go ahead and change it. But what I want you guys to do, and all of you, if you could do this in the chat, is what area, or if there's a tie, do you feel you need to push that belief meter up more? So maybe if you're looking and you're like, you know, I have 2 areas in here I'm pretty close to a 10, or I'm pretty strong, but there's a couple that I need work on. I want you to write in the chat where you need the work. So we can just kind of say, all right, so for everybody's self. Maybe we need to do our personal development calls every week. Debbie. Oh, I love it, Eileen. All 10s. Okay, good. That was awesome. Sophie's network marketing, because that was something for me. So when I went to my first UIA, so UIA is University in Action. You guys keep writing if you haven't. I'm still looking at the chats. When I went to my first UIA, University in Action, with David Woods, he goes through this. And it's really what you spend the entire weekend on, is bringing your belief in these areas up as high as you can. The goal is to leave there 10 out of 10. And Eileen said she's 10 in all cross, and that is one of her first event, an event that she always talks about. When I went to my very first UIA, I had a 10 in all areas except network marketing. I had a 10 in Isagenix, but not in network marketing. And I remember my partner was this young girl. I think she must have been like 22. And we had to like share what we wrote down. And she looked at me and she said, "You're making a 6-figure income in this industry and you're not a 10 out of 10. And it was like, wow, why am I not a 10 out of 10? So I really had to think about it. And, it really was because I just wasn't very educated on the industry as a whole. I just knew what I knew with Isogenics. So by the end of UIA, I became so much more confident where I now feel proud to tell people I'm a professional network marketer, where before I almost felt like there was some kind of block to say that I was a network marketer. So maybe some of you can relate to that. But I had to really go through that whole weekend, and then I had to really like own it. Like, yes, Isogenics is a network marketing company. Like, really feel proud of it. So it's part of the journey. So what I want you guys to really focus on is this. If you really truly want to make this work, you have to get every area to a 10. And I'll tell you why. When you have a 10 out of 10 in belief in the industry of network marketing, where nobody's going to, if somebody made fun of it or mocked you, it's not going to rattle you because you're at a 10. And you have a 10 in Isogenics because you trust the Cougars and the comp plan and the company that they're going to do what's right for us. And you're at a 10 there. And then you have a 10 in the products. You use the products. You're a product of the products. You share the products with passion because you feel confident in them. That's out of 10. And then you have a 10 out of 10 in yourself, your own capabilities. And that's obviously from across the board, that seems to be the one that most people struggle with. But when you get to a 10 in all areas, you truly become unstoppable. It's like a power. It's like a superpower comes over you when you get that meter to a 10 out of 10. And if anybody has experienced that growth where you were not really there and then your belief started to build, you know what I'm talking about. So tonight, we're not going to have a super long call. This is basically, I'm going to wrap it up because we do have a special call tomorrow, which I'm going to tell you guys about in a second. But what I want you guys to do tonight when you get off this call is to really seriously take a look at your list. And I want you to focus on how you can be, if you're not already, a 10 out of 10 in all areas. And not only for you, if you already are, like I'm a 10 out of 10, but I have to lead a team to feel a 10 out of 10. So how do you instill belief in your teammates? Things like this call, having guests like Mike on, suggesting different podcasts, books, doing personal development every month. That's why it's so important to Debbie and me. That's what you need to think about as a rising leader, is how not only for yourself to get to a 10 out of 10, but how will you inspire others to do the work to become a 10 out of 10? Because I will tell you right now, if you are not building to a 10 out of 10 in all those areas, you will be able to be flicked to the side by the naysayers, by somebody saying a negative comment, by rejection, by anything will rattle you. And you have to have that unstoppable feeling. So here's some things. I feel like most of you are confident in the products. I don't think anybody said product, but what I was going to tell you is if you did need to build your belief in the product, the best thing to do is do the system correctly, at least 80% of the time, have a healthy, balanced lifestyle, and get some product education. Start watching some of the videos that they have in the back office, especially the ones that the doctors talk about, the science and the testing. All of that will build your belief in the products. But it seems like most of you seem good with that. If it's about the company, I would research more about the Cougars, look at some of their contribution. I feel for me, what really elevated my belief in the Cougars and in our company was visiting corporate headquarters. And I know that's something that you can't always just do, but the next time we have NYKO, if you've never done a tour and seen what they've built and seen the history and where they've come from and what kind of things that they do, like it blew my mind, the contribution and things like that, and where they came from and where they are now. So I would highly suggest that the next NYKO that you do a tour. Or if you go to visit Nicole Carter, she's right there. We could do a big trip to her house and go visit. But it really, truly helps build your belief. Now, if it's the network marketing industry that you're kind of shaky about, like I was, you need to really look into building your belief there. And you can watch, one of the best suggestions I'll say is The Rise of the Entrepreneur with Eric Worre. And things like that that show the whole industry. It's not just about Isogenics, because I feel like that could be easy for us to build our belief in, but the whole industry. And what I'll tell you that also truly helped me with the industry is networking with other people that are with other companies and becoming one, because you cannot knock other companies. You cannot make fun of somebody who's selling, you know, Color Street nail strips or a makeup company or whatever. You have to support the whole industry. And when you do that, and when you start buying products from other reps and other companies, that actually really helps too. It builds your belief in it. I feel like it's really good energy and karma as well. So that's something else that you never want to, and even if somebody says, hey, how does Herbalife compare to Isogenics, or how does this one or that one? I don't go into a comparison game. I say, all I know is that this has the results that I'm getting, that all these people are getting. If you want to try, create. But I never really want to put down another company, because I don't feel like that's respecting the industry. And that was something that I had to really learn when I was trying to build my belief in the industry. And then for self. So if you really are working on building belief in yourself, you never want to miss a personal development call the last Tuesday of every month when Debbie does those. You might want to look into certain podcasts or self-development books. Debbie works with some of the team members one-on-one. She gives a discount. But really, truly focus on how you can get yourself. And what I also want you to think about is, this is a really important question. Whatever your number is for self, where was it a year ago? And if it's the same as it was a year ago, then you haven't truly been focusing on it and you haven't been working on it. So if you're at a 6, but last year you were at a 3, then you've made progress. But if you're looking at, and you're like, I'm about a 6, but last year you gave yourself a 6, then what's been going on for this year? You haven't focused on that personal development that's so important. So I'm going to wrap it up so that you guys can get back. I know it's a really busy time. We have the new promo. We're enrolling 5 new people with 100 BV or more by August 23rd for an additional $200. Remember, not just you, encourage your team to do that too. Encourage your customers to start sharing. There's an extra bonus on the table. And then tomorrow night, we have a few teams were offered this with KK. So KK, Carissa, we call her KK, is Tony Robbins' #1 female trainer. She's done an 8-week program that a few of us have been in. She's phenomenal. I think some of you were on her one call that we did with the ISA Runners group and Erica and all that. She's so good. And she's doing a special call tomorrow. I believe it's 8 p.m. Is that right? Somebody nod. 8 p.m.? Pretty sure it's 8 p.m. Yeah, thanks. 8 p.m. tomorrow. And it's really just for Isogenics and teaching us more about closing. So, you know, connecting, but then closing. So that's going to be tomorrow night. So I want to make sure you guys know that that's just a special invitation for certain teams. So you guys should definitely take advantage of being on that, see what you can learn from her and get from her, so you can start to implement that. But that's all I have. So what I'm going to do is see if there's any questions. Oh, and I just saw Lauren hop on. Happy birthday. Lauren's birthday.
Thank you.
We had so many August birthdays. Rod's is coming
Birthday,
up.
Lauren.
Debbie's is coming up.
Thank you.
Jess coming up. A lot of August birthdays, actually. I think it might be and Nicole's coming up. There's a lot of August birthdays in our team. So does anybody have any questions about anything? I will also tell you, the directors and above were just on a call right before we hopped on this one with corporate, just kind of going over some things they wanted to tell us about, that they are working on all of those shipping issues that we've been having and the warehouse and all that. So we basically heard what was going on, why it's going on, and how they're fixing it. And it seems like we're resolved at this point or close to it. But they did say that for August this year, compared to August last year, we're up 122%. That's pretty huge. And the growth in leadership, meaning people sharing and like growing their teams, is up 45% from last year. So lots of growth in the company, lots of people joining Isogenics and hearing about Isogenics. So I always like to tell people, your friends are going to hear about Isogenics. Make sure that you're the first one to connect with them and to share it with them before somebody else, because it's going around. People are learning more and more about our company and our opportunity. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for tonight. And thank you guys for honestly being on and being on time and having your videos on for Mike. It really means a lot to me. I'm so excited for him to see how many of us, were on and that he gets to connect with you guys now. He's really got great energy. I think he's going to be just so phenomenal for the company, especially knowing that he was friends with John Raines. I could kind of see the similarities there. So, all right, guys, let's make it a great week, rest of our week. And tomorrow night, 8 p.m. is that special KK training call. And then Thursday night, our opportunity call. Brooke is hosting it. And remember, this week, we're going to have more focus on the start age group. So more focus on that 18 to 35. So if you have anyone you're thinking of or any customers that are in that bracket, you really want to get them on this call so they can really get an idea of what it's all about. And Brooke does a great job casting the vision to the millennial age group. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a great week. And I'll post the recording in the group either tonight or tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Gina.
Everyone.